H3H3 on kiwifarms, Keffals.
Keffals, welcome. Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet
too.
you. So, how's it going?
I never thought that the first time that I went to the United Kingdom, because I'm in Northern Ireland right now, would be the week that the Queen dies. But God, it's been interesting.
So, are you there now, or did you return home?
I'm still in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and do people know where you're living now, or are you able to keep that a secret?
No, I can't. But like I've been swatted multiple times while I've been here already.
Oh my
But
god.
it was all swatting attempts. The cops never pulled a gun on me, unlike what happened in Canada. But it's happened so many times now that the cops don't even take the calls seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Who's scarier, the Irish? Are the Irish police cool about that stuff? Because like in America, they go crazy. Like the first time we got swatted, there was like 20 police cars. There's a fucking helicopter. They cased the whole house with their guns drawn. It was pretty nuts. Like, are the Irish police cooler about it?
Oh yeah, no. Like, someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers, and they were knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Oh my God. This whole thing has been insane. Like the last month and a half.
So to walk me through it, I want to take it kind of from the top. Like, how did you initially get into this? I don't want to call it a beef because it's like that kind of downplays what it is, but into the spat with Kiwi Farms.
So they started a thread on me on March 25th. And like, you know how that goes. They started off, they doxed my mother, they doxed me. They started doxing other members of my family. They doxed like 8 of my Twitch mods.
Wow.
And, but after that, it was just harassment for months up until August 5th, when someone impersonated me in an email and sent it to every local politician saying, I have an illegal firearm and I'm going to go kill every cisgender person I see at City Hall. So yeah, I wake up and the SWAT team arrests me. They take me into custody and get a search warrant. They take all my computers, my phones, everything. So at that point, it's like I stream for a living and they just took my way of earning a living away. So I decided that I would go to the media. I would talk about it.
That's incredible how much damage they did. I've heard of swatting, but actually getting you arrested, getting the warrant and confiscated, that's pretty next level. It's just surprised you that this website is like legal. I mean, where's the legal and illegal? Where's that line?
Look, I think people are being a little too critical. I think I don't know which parts of her story are inconsistent and which aren't, but yeah. Look, I think she got swatted probably. I don't know all the details. It sucks that she had everything like confiscated or whatever, so.
Where they're actually doing illegal things. So how's the website allowed to stay up? Are you familiar with the legality of that?
Only vaguely, because it's all American law and I'm unfortunately Canadian.
Unfortunately,
as far as I understand, it's section 230. So the owner of the website isn't responsible for the actions of the users.
Yeah, even if they're doing illegal stuff, or it seems to be,
But like, the whole
pretty
purpose
dumb.
of the website is to allow for those things to happen. It's weird.
Well, especially because the owner seems to be engaging in it or specifically allowing it. So, golly, there's got to be some legal. I hope there's some legal repercussions for him. So, what happened after you got?
Just saying, it would make sense the cops would use that kind of force in response to a threat against multiple officials. Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's still wrong that she got swatted, obviously, but it makes sense why, I guess. Earl, you're going to be you're going to be respectful on my YouTube channel, or you're going to get banned. This is warning number 1. We respect pronouns and all that here. Makes this water's wrong, not the cops. Yeah. I think the cops probably reacted how they were trained to react, you know? Yeah, I mean, I guess they're not really comparable, these two cases, but I would say that, I mean, it's wrong for how much she's gotten targeted, though she's not good at making friends on the internet. Like, she's really, really bad at it.
That's basically a warrant and all of your stuff confiscated. You went to the prison, or you got held in some kind of jail?
Oh, yeah. I just got held in a holding cell for like 11 hours, and then they released me with no charges, but they wouldn't give me my stuff back.
Really?
And the attorney that was representing me said that the process of going through digital forensics could take months.
Oh my God.
So I was really freaked out. I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
I don't understand the urge to defend Kiwi Farms or to so insistently downplay or justify what happened to her. I agree. I don't think we should downplay what happened to her. I think I'm just trying to have like a, you know, I don't think she instigated this. Like, let's be real, guys. I don't think she instigated the initial wave of harassment towards her from Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms just kind of latches onto people and harasses people. I would say that when it comes to other content creators, she does the same behaviors, and that's why I don't like it.
Police.
That's nice.
So yeah, that was really nice.
And if I were her, I wouldn't have instigated with Kiwi Farms, you know? But
not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
When you decided to go and talk to the media about it, how do you get that done? Like, who would actually listen?
It actually went pretty big. Like, it started with like the local press, and then it made its way to like provincial and then national press in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just kind of kept going, because like I knew by coming forward with that meant I had to confirm where I lived. So I left. I didn't want that to happen again.
okay, her making 100K, like, I'm super jelly, yeah. But, you know. Similarly, though, she should let other people speak their minds freely without being harassed. Exactly. That, I just feel like I've been very targeted by Keffals, and I just don't. It's hard for me to be nice.
That was terrifying. So I went to a hotel, and yeah, Ethan already brought up what happened at the hotel, brought my cat there, and they found out the bed sheets. They started ordering pizzas at the hotel in my dead name just to let me know they know where I am.
God.
And that's got to make you feel unsafe, right? When they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know, I'm a pretty visible trans person online. I'm used to people saying mean things to me all the time, but when it escalates to the point where they're trying to let me know they know where I am and they're willing to weaponize the police, that's when it gets actually scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, we kept getting swatted at our old house, so we moved. We were scared as shit. So
Yeah.
I know that feeling, and I think it's obviously way more intense for you.
Yeah.
So you went to prison. You came back. You got your stuff back. So what kind of happened from there? You're back in your house. You got your computers. Do you go streaming? Do you go to a hotel? What happens in the immediate aftermath?
Okay, so like after I got out, I didn't get my stuff back. Like I spent the next several days thinking, all right, like how do I tell the story in order to get people to listen?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like kind of spent days thinking like, how do I do this? And I got something together. I got together with like some of my friends, and we were able to start a campaign around that to pressure the police basically to give me my stuff back, because I was still a suspect, even though I was the victim of a hate crime in that situation. Like someone's impersonating me. And in the email, they specifically made sure to include my dead name, so the police would also start calling me by my dead name. Like they wanted to humiliate me.
Yeah. Why do they hate? So just to go do an aside a little bit. So why is it that they targeted you and hated you so much?
You know, it didn't really start until I started covering politics on Twitch.
I honestly think Destiny might have a case for defamation because people in the Keffals community were editing his Wikipedia page and putting untrue things there. So,
like, I got really involved around the time that Governor Abbott in Texas decided to have the parents of transgender youth investigated by Child Protective Services. And I just started covering all the other anti-trans bills, and I was getting into fights with like conservative pundits. And it really pissed them off. They really didn't like that.
I have a similar story. I know all about that. The minute I started talking about politics, we started getting like insane amounts of hate and scrutiny from the righties. But okay, continue. So they didn't like you were talking about politics. So what happened? Kind of, how did you feel that they were unhappy? How did that first started manifesting, like a harassment?
I think it's because like right now it's like we're in a culture war basically against trans people. Trans people are at the epicenter of this. And there's a lot of people right now convinced that if you support trans youth, you're a pedophile. Mm-hmm. And so they started this entire smear campaign to try and convince everyone I'm a pedophile and everything I'm doing is to support pedophilia. And any of the kids that I've supported in their transition are my grooming victims. It's been really fucked up, especially because I'm someone who came out when I was a minor. I understand what it's like to be in that position. Yeah,
they've been accusing you of being a pedophile and a groomer. Actually, what's kind of crazy is we've seen people echoing that. Even when we said we'd have you on, some of our own fans were saying, "Don't have her on. She's a groomer." So, what would you say to them, kind of now that you have the opportunity to explain that accusation that they level against you?
I think the problem with it is people are using that word in two different ways. Like people have taken the word groomer, which means someone who is manipulating children into doing sex acts. Mm-hmm. And then they've made that word mean someone who supports trans people. But if you don't know the difference, it means the same thing, right?
I mean, I think most people think of groomer as someone who's preparing I think that's the common usage, and I think that's what they're saying about you.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because
what are they saying? What are they basing it off of? Why are they saying that?
Are they saying it? There literally is no basis for saying it.
So let's see.
They think because
they claim that you had a Discord server with minors discussing sexual stuff.
I never had a Discord server where I discussed sexual stuff with minors.
And then they also say, I guess one of their problems is that you were supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You were telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my God. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Wait, is that not real? I thought she had a whole website dedicated to DIY HRT. Is she... what? Wait, what? What's going on here? Did she not... What did she just say? DIY HRT is about getting access to pharma hormones, not making them yourself. Oh, okay. This is sophistry. Her website directs people to buy it from other countries' gray market. That's still not any better, though. Like, okay, you're not teaching them to make hormones, but you're teaching children how to buy drugs from the gray market.
Sounds difficult. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know
Yeah, how do you
to-
do that?
I think you'd have to be like a pretty talented chemist, or if that's even possible. I don't know.
At least she's not doing the demon mama bathtub hormones thing. That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that people are saying.
But I would still say that, like, encouraging kids to seek out hormones that aren't being monitored by a doctor. You know, I think it's super important that these things are monitored by a doctor. You're assuming she's targeting minors, but that's not the case. That's fair. Yeah.
What's the truth? I mean, you do have some kind of community where you're helping young trans people, right? That's like something
Yeah,
you're
of
passionate
course.
about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's something that I've been really passionate about because all of these laws ended up coming out, and it really hurts me on a personal level. Like, I knew what.
There's no evidence of her encouraging kids to do DIY HRT. Are you sure about that one? Because I'm pretty sure there is evidence there about infection. I'm trying to be like fair to her, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that she has advertised that she has helped kids get like DIY HRT. There's evidence of her friend Chloe encouraging kids for sure. She was talking about it on stream. Imagine losing access to your HRT because your state bans it, so you get forced to go through puberty. It's a tough situation to be in, but I still feel like it's something that needs to be monitored by a medical professional. And there are people who are reporting like their kids getting DIY HRT, like when and them finding out later when they would have been, you know, when their kid comes out, when they would have been supportive in the first place, you know? The correct answer is that there needs to be better healthcare across the board. This is a shitty response to a shitty system. I agree with that.
What it was like growing up, like in 2011, coming out at 16, and it seemed like the whole world's against you. But things are worse now than they were then. Like back then, no one knew what a trans person was. Now it's like everyone does. And in one way, that visibility is great, but in the other way, it means more people who are bigoted towards you can express that.
So when did you transition? At what age?
I was 16.
And so the people that you're kind of advocating for or talking with, these are people who are like not finding support within their families and their communities, and kind of someone who doesn't have someone to lean on, to talk to get additional resources from. Is this the kind of thing that you're doing with them?
There is transphobia such that kids don't get access to doctors to assist. Yeah. I definitely can acknowledge that. It's tough. It's a tough situation. I still think that there are medical standards for a reason, though. Like anybody who works in medicine would, I don't know, I feel like be kind of against unmonitored HRT, right? I think I'm not arguing for self-application of hormones, but there are arguments for supporting the gray market, and there are arguments for keeping kids safe. Such a messed up situation. I agree. I would not look. I don't know what the solution is here, except for improving the healthcare system. But encouraging kids to buy from gray markets doesn't seem like the solution to me. You want children to be like, have medical professionals monitoring them if they're going to be doing these things, right? So
some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
Selling unregulated drugs to minors, like what? Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh? Shouldn't surprise me that much, but yeah.
These people are the type of people who harass people to the point where they unalive themselves. I try not to take what they say with a grain of salt.
I want children to be able to talk to their parents, be supported, and get the correct health care. I don't want ideology to get in the way of health care, which can be much worse with irrevocable things like puberty. I agree with that. Yeah, I just think that Keffals has enough power and enough like influence that she could probably raise a lot of money to push for legislation in a lot of these states that have these problems, right? Or push for clinics in these states, I think that she has the resources to do that. She's got the press connections to do that. If she wanted to make like a difference that I think would be undisputably good, I think that would be the way to do it. No, I don't think she's explicitly targeting children, but I do think that I think there is a real harm in children having access to the gray market and learning how to buy from the gray market, and I think we need to be aware of that. Her audience obviously skews younger. It does skew younger. Her audience is full of teenagers, but I think it's legitimate for people to seek help wherever they can for gender dysphoria. But I just think that the way to do it, as unfortunate as it is, I think it needs to be monitored. It needs to be monitored by a health professional, unless they have health professionals online who are monitoring them. But like, I don't think SFOs hate watching the stream. SFO is a content creator. I think he has his own opinions. If there's no other way to help, the pathway through Keffals may be the only way. Plus, the system gives her this position and power to her community. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with unregulated drugs to children. I just don't. I don't agree with it. I agree with increasing access to healthcare and increasing support for children who are experiencing gender dysphoria, but I don't agree with unregulated drugs and children taking drugs without medical supervision. But yeah, Keffals does use the same tactics against people she doesn't like. And she'll lie about people. It sucks. Stars being infinitely more charitable to Keffals than Keffals has been with her. I think I try to be. I try to be. But, you know, it is what it is. People don't really care. People don't really care how charitable I am.
I don't know the expression, you know what I mean?
So do you think that was their goal with you?
And the thing is, like, I get it. Like, Keffals has access and is able to give people these resources to get healthcare services and stuff that they need if they're experiencing gender dysphoria. But it is true that there needs to be some medical intervention. There needs to be medical supervision when people are taking these drugs. And just given the history of Keffals and the way that she targets people and slanders people online and lies about people online, it's hard for me to trust her with something this important. You know, I just feel like Keffals has been bad faith so many times. She's lied about people so many times. She's been dishonest so many times that it's very hard for me to trust her with this kind of thing.
Probably felt
Honestly,
like
I
it.
don't agree with calling her vile, you know, but
Yeah.
because I see them talk about other trans people, and the first thing is they don't want trans people to even exist. Like, you look through the kind of stuff they say, and they're advocating for a higher unaliving rate for trans people, like unironically.
Which is already like super high, right? I mean, the percentage of trans people that attempt to unalive themselves is like insanely high, right? It's like 1 out of 3.
I actually don't know what the recent statistic was. The one thing that I always thought was kind of funny, well, not funny, sad actually. There was that old statistic, like 41% suicide attempt rates. And from what I remember, it was actually like a trans youth suicide attempt rate. But the more supports that they had, like supportive families or access to medical care, that rate dropped significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's so important to understand about what trans people go through. I saw that too. That when they have support of their family or friends, or even, I think the study even said, if they just have one person in their life, family, friend, whoever, that they can talk to about it, the rate of unaliving goes down significantly.
I can imagine even just a Twitch streamer to watch and talk about it is probably really significant.
Right. It says, the data I have says 82% of trans individuals have considered unaliving themselves.
That doesn't surprise me.
As of this year, 40% have attempted to unalive. I mean, that's just so horrible that our society is so fucked up like that, man. Well, so let's get back to the timeline.
Oh, of course.
So you went back to your house.
yeah, I just don't trust her. The amount of times that she's been dishonest about me or dishonest about people I know, dishonest about anybody in the Twitch politics sphere. She lied about like so many people that I know who didn't do anything to deserve it. And it makes me very hard to trust her with anything. It makes it really hard for me to trust her motivations or trust her on anything.
You've got your stuff back. You got the apology from the police, which is nice. So what happens from that point?
That was
I support the same causes. Yeah, I do support the same causes that she has, but like, I don't know that I trust her, you know?
the point where I decided that I didn't feel safe in my house. So I decided to move to a hotel room.
Yeah, so you went to the hotel room, you posted a picture of your cat. They somehow figured that out. I mean, these people,
yeah,
they're fucked up, but they have this freakish talent. They're like insanely good at doxing people. I mean, it's almost like
you're giving them too much credit. I live in a small city and there's like 5 hotels and only one of them had like that specific spread of bed sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there another one though where you posted like a picture of your lunch and then they figured out?
Oh, okay. So what happened? So like after what happened in that hotel room, I was like, okay, I'm going to be sneaky. They're not going to find me this time. So I said I was going to stay in some Airbnbs until I found a new apartment. And I decided instead to go to a different hotel and start streaming with the green screen. And what ended up happening was, I think it was after a week, my Uber account got hacked. And my mom's Uber account got hacked, and my brother's Uber account got hacked, and we all got the same message, like this automated voice telling us that we got doxxed. All of our information was posted online because someone has it out for us, and that it's not a threat, but that we should be careful.
That came through the app?
It was like, like one of those, I don't know the name for the type of voice.
It's like the
AI voice.
Yeah, but where did it come from? What app did it come from on your phone?
Oh no, it was just a regular call because they got our phone numbers when they hacked our Uber accounts.
Oh, they gave you a call?
You guys and played it?
Yeah, that's how they were able to get our addresses, because they had the entire order history on all of those accounts.
What's wrong with this guy's Blink? He has
So
Tourette's.
Nuts, man.
Yeah,
so you go into
Tourette's.
one hotel, they find out where you are, and then what happens there? You go to another hotel?
Yeah, I went to that hotel. My Uber gets hacked. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, I was really upset because it's like my family is collateral in harassing me at this point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay with my friend in Northern Ireland. So I get on a plane, I go to Northern Ireland, and I do a stream there. And within a day, they figure out where we're staying here as well.
How'd they do
Pizza
that?
starts showing up at the door.
That's insane.
So our best guess, because there was no way that they could have figured out the unit number. They said it was because of the door handles, but it doesn't make sense. And we think that my host, one of her accounts got hacked that had her address.
These people are so nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Dedicated, man.
I can only imagine that will really drive a person crazy. Like the amount of harassment.
Yeah.
Look, I think she's gotten a lot of attention from KF, and they're very focused on her, and she may be bad at not posting about where she is, but I don't think that means she deserves to get swatted or anything, So
yeah, at that point, I started the campaign because I wanted to get Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms, because I didn't know what to do. Because if the site kept going, that was just going to be my life.
Yeah.
Like you're a really big content creator, Ethan. You got like millions of subscribers, but your thread was like 500 pages. Mine is like 2,200 pages.
Okay,
like,
that's what I was wondering.
harass
So,
me.
2,200. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
no, they fucking hate me. Wait, can I swear on here?
Yeah,
you
it's
can.
okay.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you go to Ireland, Northern Ireland. They dox you again. Is that when you start this campaign? You were like, well, I'm just going to go to war with this website.
Yeah.
And so you basically, why did you target, first of all, Cloudflare?
There were multiple companies that I wanted to target. Cloudflare was the one that I chose first because it was the biggest one. And I knew that in the past, Cloudflare had dropped other hate sites like the Daily Stormer and 8chan. So I thought there would be a pretty good chance that they would also drop Kiwi Farms.
So when you starting that campaign, that must have really fucking, if they hated you then, you're threatening their whole existence, right, on the internet, their whole safe place to try to make people unalive themselves.
Yeah.
So it must have intensified. Did you experience it, like intense harassment during that time? Or, I mean, was there nothing more they could do?
Yeah, I mean, like someone even came to the apartment in Ireland, and they took a photo outside the apartment with a note calling me a transphobic slur, telling me to get out of their community. And then they had a whole bunch of Kiwi Farms nerd shit on the letter that's like indecipherable to anyone who goes outside.
Wow. So
Is that person who was
I
mad
was
at me still
following
in the
this.
chat? The Alicia person? I feel like if you looked at any of my coverage of Keffals, I've been generally pretty charitable towards her, despite how she's treated me in the past. I don't think she deserves any of the hate that she's gotten or the swatting that she's gotten. I just don't think that the people I know deserve to get lied about and deserve to get targeted by her community. It just really sucks. And, you know, and like half the people she she targeted with her community are people who are marginalized people themselves. Like, it just is so hypocritical. The way that she will lie about people and freak out when other people lie about her, the way she will threaten people when she claims that others are threatening her, the way, you know, it feels bad, man. It just feels really bad. And it feels like for people like me or people who don't have a whole lot of followers, there's never going to be any amount of like justice that happens for us, you know? It just feels like there's never going to be anything that happens good for us. Sucks. Forget slandering me to your hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever. Forget, you know, slandering friends of mine. Forget trying to get Gappy, person of color, you know, kicked off of Twitch while it was Asian Asian month on Twitch, by the way. You know, it's just crazy. She made a spreadsheet and like put a whole bunch of people's names on it and stuff. And she even put another trans person's name on that spreadsheet for no reason other than that they were friends with me. It's just like the guilt with association, guilt from association thing is like so stupid. It's just so stupid. You should just pretend to be a socialist and say everything they say is right. Then CNN will feature when right-wingers come for you. Yeah, nobody gave a shit about me when I was getting targeted by these people, you know? Nobody gave a shit about me when I was getting targeted by anyone on the far right or the far left. Nobody cared. Nobody like gave a fuck. And I don't expect people to give a fuck. But it's just it's bullshit, you know? They laughed when you were targeted by the far right. Yeah. It's very frustrating. Well, Manko, you did care. I appreciate that. I just get like hit from both sides and nobody cares.
You were actually getting a lot of momentum here to get this website taken down by Cloudflare. And eventually the owner of Cloudflare put out a statement. He said, we're not going to do anything. We had taken down the Daily Stormer, which is like a white supremacist website in the past, and he regretted it.
Really?
Because he doesn't want to be the arbiter of like what websites stay and what websites go. But it turned out only like a day or two later, he did take it offline. What happened in between those two time periods?
What he said, because when it went offline, there was a big block screen that said this web.
Yeah, Dylan stood up for me and a couple other people. Dana both stood up for me, but you know, like, but that was when Keffals like came for all of us. Like when it came to things like the fringes of both political ends, trying to report me or trying to harass me. When I was the only one dealing with it, when I was the one who was dealing with like, you know, 600 people in my chat, nobody really gave a fuck, you know? It's just is what it is.
Website presents an imminent and emergency threat to human life and has been blocked by Cloudflare security services.
Wow.
And he put out a big statement that was basically stating in the last 48 hours, the threats had intensified to the point where multiple law enforcement services had to get involved, and they weren't able to keep up with how many threats were happening. Like, they made 2 different bomb threats against me, and I'm in Northern Ireland. Like, now the history here,
not a good place to make
just
bomb
like,
threats. Yeah,
not the place.
yeah. I saw actually. It's pretty incredible. It was almost like they undid themselves to your end, because I saw a lot of stuff on Kiwi Farms of them just making straight up death threats against you, like credible death threats with your address. And I think at that point, the owner was like, okay, now I have a reason at least to stop supporting them. And kind of interesting that they got themselves shut down in a way and achieved your goal for you.
I think it was a few things. The site has kind of been in relative obscurity for the majority of the time that it's existed. And they got pretty emboldened over the years. Like, they didn't get shut down over what happened with the Christchurch massacre or the multiple people unaliving themselves or any of the crazy shit that they got involved in. But not only that, even though it took a whole bunch of horrible stuff happening to someone who already had like a pretty visible presence online, people have been trying to get this site offline for like a decade. So there was so much backing when I started this.
So true. It's such a win for the world. I mean, these people are just demons.
Hello? Flamenco?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, how are you doing?
I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
That on your website, keffals.gg, you have a link here that says do it DIYHRT.
Yeah. So it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, if you're in a situation, you live in a state where there's no healthcare provider and you're forced to do that yourself, like find it like at a pharmacy in a different country. It's a resource that's available.
So when it says do it yourself, what does that mean though? You're not there. That almost implies you're making the hormones.
No, you don't make the hormones.
Okay. So I think it's just a misnomer there.
Yeah, no. When it's do it yourself, it's like you have to get the prescription yourself because there's no doctor available.
That makes sense. So
yeah,
I think
the reason that it's offered, because I feel like people really misunderstand the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a last resort sort of thing. You should absolutely see a doctor if you can. But for a lot of people, they can't see a doctor.
That makes sense. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, there is no homemade hormones happening here. There it is.
Yeah, I've seen an endocrinologist the last 11 years. If you have access, absolutely do it. It's the better route.
Right. But if you don't, doing something drastic like this is going to improve your mental health and possibly save your life.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, of course.
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you now. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Oh man. Oh. I guess like I just wanted to put a few things that were in the H3 things like the thing that we just listened to in perspective. One, the post specifically of like, you know, I guess like somebody saying that they were going to go do a bomb threat was live on the website for a whole 17 minutes, of which it was flagged for deletion by users once every 2 minutes, and was then removed 17 minutes later. And to put into perspective, it took Facebook like 36 minutes to take down the live stream of the Christchurch shooting. So, like, I don't know. It sounds like Kiwi Farms is a little bit more able to respond to illegal content than Facebook is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I look, I can't comment on the KF stuff. Because I don't know enough of the details there, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. On the Cloudflare stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that they'll probably. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with KF right now.
Josh says
honestly.
that it should be up by the end of next week or something. That's his plan anyway. And I guess we'll see if that works out. I hope it does. I feel bad for Josh. He has to deal with like all these headaches at once. And
Well,
if
yeah. I mean,
if
the thing is,
Cloudflare had just like waited 2 days, we would have just been laughing at the fact that they could only get like 3 people to go to the Sydney event.
look, I think that oh man, I think that there should be spaces on the internet that have freedom, like absolute freedom of speech, right? Or at least expression.
Mhm.
But like KF didn't help themselves either, like they really didn't help themselves as far as that stuff goes.
I can understand that like that method of thought. I've said this before and I'll stress it again. Kiwi Farms by and large is probably the better website for something like this. It highly discourages criminal activity, I would say.
Okay. I mean, I don't know much about it. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think that there should be places for freedom of speech, but I just feel like it's hard to say because like KF did make a lot of enemies in the process, and I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I would prefer like in an ideal world with all of this, Josh would also have access to like a PayPal account and credit card stuff. I genuinely have a fundamental ideological problem when people are essentially blacklisted from any sort of normal commerce based sort of thing based on activity that's not illegal. I think that when you
Yeah.
go into like illegal stuff, when you're committing fraud, you should be blacklisted from these things. But unless your activity actually crosses into illegal behavior, I don't think that you should be like unpersoned as a financial entity, essentially.
I don't know. I guess I would ask what your thoughts are on doxing though. Then, like, what do you think doxing should be legal? What do you
Personally,
think
don't like
is
doxing. I
Okay.
personally don't like doxing. Like this is coming from a person that has like a Kiwi Farms thread on himself or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been doxed and all that sort of stuff. I would prefer it not happen, but I find myself at least a little bit more mature, and I feel as if that even though I personally don't like it, my sensibilities don't necessarily supersede other people's right to expression.
Mm. Okay. Do you think people have the right to be like forgotten?
I when it comes to forgotten, I think Google should probably allow people to opt out of SEO, especially if like a large part of their SEO is people that are just essentially defaming them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in, Flamenco. I'm just trying to be as, neutral as possible on this, so
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So but I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Yeah.
okay. My fucking oh man, my calculus fucking exam was so fucking brutal. I stayed up like
Oh,
18
no.
hours. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good one, my dude.
Yeah. Have a good night, Star.
See ya. I don't know, guys. I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted because I feel like people should have freedom of expression. I think part of the issue here is like privacy laws in America are so bad. I think people should have not privacy, freedom of expression, but I don't know like what the solution is in this scenario. Obviously, doxing and swatting are bad things that shouldn't happen, right? So I'm very conflicted.
And it's like, if you're diabetic and, you know, there's no price cap on insulin in the United States. So a lot of people really struggle to afford it. I feel like people wouldn't really have that much outrage if Americans are crossing the border to get Canadian insulin because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But if we can consider like transgender healthcare as healthcare, I don't see what the big problem actually is.
I don't have a problem with it, but I think it's
Oh,
I think it's great what you're doing is helping people in need
Mm-hmm.
and potentially saving lives. I think it's just the psychos that think that like you decided to be trans just because you want to be different or something. The theory I don't even fucking get.
Oh no, being trans has made my life significantly harder.
Yeah, I don't think that's like something that people seek out to live out. But so we got them dropped from Cloudflare, but that's
Well, just because somebody
significant about
smiles when they say their life has been made harder doesn't mean what they're saying is untrue.
that? Can't they just go to another hosting?
Okay, so they didn't get dropped from their host.
Like, I will sometimes smile when I say something is making me very unhappy, you know? She's having a ball right now. Come on. You don't know that. You have no idea. People express things in different ways.
I think they changed hosts recently, but what happened? They got dropped from Cloudflare and they got the site back up immediately under a Russian domain and with a Russian DDoS protection service. And then they got dropped in less than 24 hours and the site was offline again.
Wow.
Any
Like,
idea?
I think we can be like critical while still like treating people like human beings, guys. Okay.
Why the Russians dropped them? That's interesting that they even cared.
Oh, they put out a statement.
It's hard. Most doxing is just piling on public stuff, so it's hard to separate in-law from legit journalism. What if like just the privacy laws in the US were better so that our information wasn't always out there? That would make such a huge difference to me. And I feel like that would fix a whole lot of stuff, you know? That way, like if somebody actually does dox you and releases private information about you, it is doxing and it's like it needs to then you can like actually do something, right? But right now, as it is, privacy laws in the US are so fucking, abysmal that it doesn't matter what you do, you're already being doxxed by like 20 websites.
They said that Kiwi Farms broke their acceptable use policy.
Wow.
And I think it's because maybe these companies aren't used to a pressure campaign to drop a website like this. Like, I'm sure they're getting like hundreds of emails to drop this website.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're just like, well, fuck it. I don't care about them.
Yeah. Like, what are we making from this that's worth this?
Right.
Wow. That's super interesting. But so Cloudflare, as I know, it's a DDoS, right? So there's probably people who are continuously trying to take Kiwi Farms offline by DDoSing them, which is when you overwhelm a site with requests, making it basically inaccessible. And so Cloudflare is a service that prevents DDoSing. So when you get dropped from that and you get dropped from the Russian counterpart, they basically are unable to go back up online, right? And that's where we are now.
Yeah. They found another one, but it's really unreliable. And basically since that, the site has just been intermittently online. Apparently Joshua Moon was really plugging his cryptocurrency accounts in the Telegram today. He's banned from like PayPal and Visa and MasterCard, so it's all he has.
Wait, when did he get banned from all that stuff? Was that a recent development?
I think that was during the Christchurch stuff.
Okay, so this guy's he's a well-known piece of shit.
Yeah. When they got dropped from Cloudflare and then DDoS Guard, he put out a statement saying that he thinks that the future of the site is going to be like what happened to either the Daily Stormer or 8chan, where what happened with the Daily Stormers, they continuously get dropped and they're held together with twine and duct tape, jumping host to host and domain to domain to keep online. or 8chan, where they had to go up the clear net entirely. But the problem with doing that and going on the dark net is you can't reliably protect yourself from DDoS attacks. And I don't encourage illegal behavior, but Joshua Moon is a piece of shit, and he's made a lot of really bad enemies over the years.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad for him. His website getting DDoS there. Not shedding any tears about that. So what do you think? You think the website's off for good now? I mean, if the website was kiwifarms.net, right? Kiwifarms.net, and right now it's off, just completely offline. There's nothing there.
I actually don't know what's going to happen, but I know that it doesn't really look good for the future. There's no big companies that are reliable that are willing to support them.
Yeah.
And even though I ended the campaign I started, I ended after 6 days after DDoS Guard dropped them. But that didn't stop the people trying to pressure the other companies that have picked up Kiwi Farms. So I'm seeing people going at it all day.
That's good. I think it's a valiant fight, man. Those people are, I mean, how does a website even exist just like dedicated to hating everyone and everything to the nth level, where it's like, we don't just hate this person, we actively trying to fucking ruin their life.
I mean, people unalive themselves already.
Yeah.
And citing that website as a cause, like, how is it still going?
They love it, man.
I think it's just because they don't have anything good in their lives, like they want to knock other people down so they feel better about themselves.
Yeah, it's like textbook bullying, but all the worst people in the world found a home in a website like this.
Oh my gosh, chicken sandwich. Thank you for the $10. So kind of you. Guys, remember to consider super chatting or subscribing. Our daily goal of subscribes on Twitch is 25. And right now we are at 5 out of 25. So if you want, consider, you do an NPR host impression. I can try. Consider doing super chats. Consider subscribing. At 25 subscribers on Twitch, I give a little mini concert. Yeah. Okay. What would an NPR host sound like? Thank you. Consider subscribing on Twitch. Consider super chatting. Greatly appreciate it. Happy birthday, Flamenco. This is why I think Keffals being in this position as righteous warrior is very bad. This idea that ideological difference is a reason for breaking the law to crush people. Yeah. Todd, thank you for the $5. Very kind of you.
Feeling, has your life kind of become a little bit more calm since this happened, or not really?
Like, honestly, like after they got dropped from the second DDoS protection, I felt like a huge weight dropped off my shoulders, because it's at this point they're basically just trying to keep themselves online. And Joshua Moon put out a statement saying, ignore the Twitter people. Stop trying to troll them. Your statements are getting us dropped from hosts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They locked all of the threads for all of the organizers of the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign because we were posting the shit they were saying about us on Twitter and making people more mad.
Yeah. So basically, has the harassment stopped? Are you still, I mean, you've won. Are they, I mean, surely they're angry, but I wonder, since they've lost a central place to congregate, if the harassment has eased.
Honestly, I'm still getting harassed, and I want to go back to what my life was like before this, when I just reacted to politics on Twitch. And I feel like that's probably never going to go away, but I can accept that as long as they're not trying to figure out where I live and post it online and send SWAT teams to my house and harass my family.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, it was a good fight, honestly. I mean, even whatever you achieved, what many thought was impossible. And I think, I'm glad that website's gone. Fuck them, bro. That they, you know, a lot of people are glad that website's down. So
it's wild to say, but you're saving lives.
So
basically.
Yeah. I don't think that's hyperbole.
Yeah.
Thanks. I had a lot of people reach out to me over this who were getting targeted by this site just to thank me for it. And it just meant a lot because they went after so many fucking people over the years.
I think a lot of people probably are even scared to speak publicly about it because then you make yourself a target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was actually a thing. Like a lot of the journalists that I started speaking to about it were told that they shouldn't talk about it because there could be a Streisand effect and then the site gets more popular. And I'm so glad they were wrong.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's your plan now? Are you back to streaming from your new wherever you are now right now?
Right now I'm just trying to settle down now that the dust is settling, and I want to get back to streaming when I can. It's looking good. I'm actually, for the first time in over a month, optimistic about things.
That's great. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you have a place. You're feeling relatively safe, hopefully. And I think you should get back to streaming as soon as you can. And Keffals on Twitch is where people can find you. And you discuss politics and all kinds of things. And fuck Kiwi Farms forever.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. A soldier. You're a soldier. And the online culture war. You're in the front lines. You're in the trenches. Taking grenades.